Hi everybody. Okay. I'm Rémi Viette. I'm a lead developer at Fortiche production, and today I'm gonna talk to you about a little bit of the studio story, so Fortiche, and after I will tell how we created an artist-friendly pipeline and how we tried, and if we have the time, it will be some Q&A. Fortiche has been created in 2009 by Pascal Charus, Jérôme Combe, and Arnaud Delorde. And we have 3 studios at Paris, Montpellier in south of France, and in Las Palmas. So big up from Paris, where there is a lot of people, and also from Montpellier, less people, but they are always outdoors, so there are a lot of sun. And big up also from Las Palmas in Canary Islands, where they are always indoor. I think it's because there is too much sun. We worked a lot on shorts and music video during several years, and since 2018, we started to work from Riot on Raze and KDA, and this was a connection with League of Legends we had since some years now, and after that, we started to work on Arcane. It's the equivalent of 3 feature films, so for the 3 arcs, 9 episodes, and it's almost 5.5 hours of content. And yeah, it's a lot of minutes and a lot of shots, 6 years of productions, and a lot of people working on it. Actually, they're not working, they're partying hard, because the production was quite hard. And yeah, also we got some awards. And thank you very much. So now we needed the pipeline, and we wanted to be artist-friendly. So the thing is, how to create an artist-friendly pipeline. Let's start by the artist expectations. First, the artist, I think, doesn't want to be bored by the pipe. So, okay, let's remove the pipeline. Why not? If we do that, of course, he has to do everything by hand. And after a few moments, it will probably look like that. So, of course, he will ask for automation features, and again and again and again, a lot of them. And if we do that for every department in the entire production, what we get at the end is exactly what we call a pipeline. So here we go again. This is the story of our life. So what the artists want is the benefits of a pipeline, but without the heaviness. So this is what we call an artist-friendly pipeline. So what makes a pipeline artist-friendly? On a technical side, we want a strong pipeline, and oh, that's not the right part. Okay, the expectations of the artist will depend on studio departments and even of people into the same department. So you have to adapt everything for every part of the pipeline, and of course, there is no perfect solutions. So third, okay. The technical side of the strong pipeline is robustness, efficiency, and security. But this is not what makes your pipeline artist-friendly. You also have to think other things in top of that to help your artist to feel comfortable. So first, we want it to be adaptive. This is what I said before. You will have tech artists that want a lot of control over the pipeline and that want specific things, and also non-tech artists that want it the smoothest and the most invisible pipeline possible. And let's see, for example, we have a line. On one side, you have a flowing and invisible pipe, and on the other side, you have high-level control. And every people or every department will be somewhere on this line. So you will have to think about which part of your pipeline you're using to adapt the control of your tool and what you give to your artists. And the thing is, the position of an artist on the line says a lot about his expectations. Also, we want it to be understandable. All artists on the pipe should know exactly what they do and why they are doing it. If there is too great complexity, you have to hide it into a black box with explicit message to let the artist know exactly what he do. So he will just click on something, and behind the curtain it happens a lot of technical stuff, but he doesn't want to be bothered with that. He just wants to click on something and just let the thing happen. And yeah, you know that one? In Python, you always have this sort of error that can pop up, and even for developers, this one is just awful. The thing is, the artist should never ever come directly in front of this sort of error. You should always have explicit messages to explain what happened, and if the things that happen, the bug, the raise, or anything else, is a technical thing, the artist should know he is not responsible of what is happening. So you have another example of technical error messages that can happen always, and we should never expose the artist directly to that. A good example of that is the Rust compiler, for the one who knows. For example, he explained exactly where you have an error in your code, exactly what is the issue, how to solve it. He can suggest some stuff to help you resolve the issue. And if it's not enough, it can also explain you some stuff in the doc to say, yeah, you have this link in the documentation that explains exactly the issue, etc. Also, we want it to be fast, and by fast, we mean that the pipeline manipulations should be as short as possible. Excuse me. Yeah. If the artist feels like he's wasting his time, actually there are two possibilities. The main thing is when this happens, this is because he don't understand exactly what he's doing. And the two possibilities are maybe it's effectively useless. This happens, and it's not always easy to figure out when it's the case or not. A good example of that at Fortiche is, for example, I remember the Grum department, for example. They exported some data for the rig, and one day we had an issue on that, and they were panicking on, wow, it doesn't work, we can't send that to the rig, etc. So I'm going to see the rig to say, hey, do you know how it works? What is exactly that and what? and actually they just didn't have use at all of the data. So we just removed it and problem solved. And the other possibility is he does not correctly understand the interest of what he's doing. And if it is the case, you have to explain it. And you have several possibilities. It can go through documentation, through explanation, through explicit log message or error message, etc. But it's very important to let the artist know exactly why he have to do some stuff, even if it has no benefits for him. It has probably some benefits for the next department or someone else inside the studio. Now let's see some keys that can help you to make an artist-friendly pipeline. The first thing is keep it low-tech. Yeah, you should use the minimum level of technology because we all want to do like super microservices, USD, I don't know, everything like real time, all that stuff. That sounds really funny and really hype. But the thing is, when you had these technologies, just because it's fun, you often had some complexity that is hard to manage after, and you had a lot of maintenance to do just because you had it because it was cool. And if you use just the bare minimum level of technology, you can just level up your technology, but only when you reach the real limitations. And the thing is, less time you spend on maintenance, and more time you can take to make the artist more comfortable and to make an artist-friendly stuff. A good example of that is the boringtechnology.club, which is a good explanation of how not use just technology because it's fun, but use more stable technology. And the other key is also have full use of the TDs. I know in little studios, devs and TDs are always the same in one person, but it is important, I think, to split devs and TDs as soon as possible because devs and artists don't speak exactly the same language, and they don't have the same timeline either, and the TDs are really, really close to the artist, and they can understand them more than the rest of the pipeline team. And also, they can focus on the immediate benefits of the artist. For example, if you have very big refactorization to do or really high stuff that spend a lot of time to the pipeline team, you can have some TDs just working to the artists to help them just live day after day because all the pipeline teams don't have the time to do that. Do you have any question?
Okay, guys, do you have any questions? Oh, great.
Yeah.
I will pass it to you.
So how do you decide or how you find the ways how to make the pipeline from there to the artist? Do you follow the artist and do you like, how can I make your life better? Or do you talk with TDs, or is there some questionnaire? Is there like some post-mortem after each project? So what's the process and how you choose the features that will make your pipeline artist-friendly?
Good question. Actually, we are doing all of that. post-mortem are really, really important. I think it is the most important at the end of a project because it can help you to think about what worked, what doesn't work, and also some features that you could do, but that is not used at all. That happens a lot in reality. And you can also ask directly the artist. And this is also where TDs are important, because if you have someone, I don't know, for example, a dev that is really focused on the database, on something really low in the pipeline, it will be really difficult for him to just speak correctly with the artist and understand what are the issues and the complexity of the artist. The thing is, when an artist tells you about his problems, he will try to explain it to you, but he will try to explain it with what he understands of the problem, which is not necessarily exactly the feature I want. So this is when the TDs are really important, because they should know what the artists need, but also what they are trying to say when they ask for something technical. So this is, I think, the most important part of the TD work is trying to understand what the artists want.
Thank you. Any question, guys? Someone else? Okay.
You're probably more on the side of the pipeline team, I think. But do you know any good rules or questions to ask artists about like resolving what they actually want? Because an open source project like OpenPipe usually gets on a lot of new people, new artists who don't have supervisors training them. They install it and they download it and say, I've played with it, but I want this feature. I want this feature. And I think the first step we kind of need to find out is how could we review or ask the right questions to either explain them that it's not the feature that they want, or resolve it into a way that we know what kind of feature we should build. Do you have any tips for that?
It's very difficult. Depending on the philosophy of the artist, someone could be very open-minded, but other could be very straight to the point of exactly what you want and nothing else. I think a good way to do it, I think it's more about human relationship than really technical stuff. But I think asking questions, for example, I know you want that feature, but if you have exactly that, this is what the problem could happen. Maybe if you just bend it a little bit and have a different point of view, you can have more benefits to it, and maybe it will be more generalizable. I don't know if it's a real word. I think it's a good point. We can just we have a philosophy in Fortiche to don't say no to features. The thing is, the feature that the artist is asking could be strange sometimes, but are very expensive, too expensive sometimes. So we don't say directly no. We say yes, why not? But after that, we just think of how many times we should spend to make the feature, and what could change in reality if we do the feature entirely. And when they explain everything, okay, we can do that, but it's 6 months of work, and we have to do all the pipeline team on that, and we have also other priorities. So if you have that, you cannot have these other things. And generally, the artist understands that he ask is too big or not in the really good direction. So I think it maybe it's a good way to do it.
Any questions? Okay. We'll try to pass it.
So actually, I do not have a real question, but I want to comment on your question on how to improve this requests and how do you ask questions. And because I'm coming from software development and I'm trying to tune to software development, we have came up with an idea to follow, for example, a couple of guidelines for from the bigger companies, which you would have. One of them, it's how Amazon Web Services are developing some of the features and how they are explaining the features to the people before they are implemented. So we have this concept of trying to create a press release of the feature before we implemented it and discuss it with the artists, because our, let's say, coding and technology, it's too much for explaining it in one phrase, 24 hours, we don't know. So then we are trying to write a press release that will convince the artist that this is what he wants. And if he's not convinced, then we have to talk more about how the feature should look and so on. So try press releases and you will see that it takes you 10 days to write a good one for an interesting feature, but after that, your half of the planning is also done because you thought about all of the aspects of the next phases of the implementation. So I hope this answers a little bit more to this, and sorry for hijacking the conversation. Continue.
Hello, I'm VK. So I've been a pipeline supervisor for many companies, so I'll just give you one more tip. So the thing is, a lot of times there'll be conflicting requests, like each user or each CG soup might be asking for features which will conflict with each other also. So it's always important when we bring in features. So the technique what we use is called feasibility and impact. So any feature is requested, we have to see what is the feasibility of the feature, is it really feasible, and what is the impact it's going to do. If it's only one time you're going to use it, in a whole lifetime of project, it is really worth implementing that feature. So we have to look at things like this, which can make it easy for us to budget for what features to develop and what features we can avoid, actually. It's more on a mathematical aspect we can do this. Just as a tip.
Thank you. So guys, any questions for me? Okay, Toke. Let me pass the mic.
Hello. Have you got any tips on doing postmortems? Because in our company we tend to like have a document and all artists just put their frustrations in there and then we deal with it when the project ends. But whether you got any experiences with that would be helpful to comment on.
I think it's important to let them express their frustration because if that frustration exists, that necessarily means there is a problem. But of course, the frustration don't explain anything about what is exactly the problem and how to solve it. There are several possibilities. Maybe the questionnaire of the postmortem can be the first step, for example, and after you can just meet the artist directly and converse with them to know exactly what is the issue and to try to suggest some solutions. Another possibility is just to try to put some questions in your questionnaire that are just here to receive the frustration, and after that, other question that can just receive some suggestions, some information, some technical stuff. And I think if you do the both, you will have an artist that can just release this frustration and also that can think of what he wants for the future and what you can do to improve his life.
Thank you. Guys, any questions? Someone? I think we are done. So thanks, Rémi, for great presentation.